Hey man, the Shantays are playing, let's go check them out. And we're all racing jacketed out, greasy hair. We're like going down there to see some Reverb and some 60s, surf. And we rolled in there and they're doing like Bob Seger covers and, just get them old records off the shelf. And honestly, man, I swear to God, like the fifth or sixth song into the set, I walked up to the stage. It was this big place, and the stage is this brewery. The stage is big, and I walked up to one of the guitar players. I don't even know who it is. I said, "Hey, man, are you guys even a surf band anymore?" And he's like, holding his guitar. He's like, "Yeah," and he's pointing to the set list. And I said, because me and my buddy came down here to see some drippy Reverb sound. I said, I don't want to hear no Stones covers, and I don't want to hear no Bob Seger. I said, if you're not a surf band anymore, let me know, because me and my buddy are going to roll out of here.
Surf music is all about what? The reverb.
Surf is reverb.
I love the reverb sound.
Reverb. More reverb.
More reverb!
I can't get enough reverb. There's lots of reverb.
Reverb is a thing that's become synonymous with surf music.
Reverb is forever and forever in my blood, my veins, and the whole thing. It just gets all over me. It's just like, milk and honey. It just makes me go crazy.
I actually had a younger dude come up to me at a show one time, had never seen us, didn't know who we were, just happened to be at the bar, and just caught our show. And he said, I don't really know what this is, but I like it.
Everybody knows surf music is very hard to explain.
It's primarily a back to the roots punk rock minimalist thing.
It's rooted in a 60s instrumental rock format.
The music itself is 1/4/5 broken blues made from a Fender reverb tank.
The guitar sounds bass. It's pretty clean.
A really strong tone and really strong, clean guitar lines.
It's not the dopey, music people. I think a lot of people think it is.
You're either involved as a musician, you're involved as a fan. The musicians like the fans, and the fans like the musicians.
The people that are into it are really passionate, are into it. Yeah.
People in the scene are very dedicated to the music, to the to the subculture, to what it represents in their lives.
And my mom hates it. She doesn't like me playing it in the car. And she goes, Christine, I hated it then, I hate it now.
Only people who really seem to believe in it are doing it now, because there isn't some sort of craze going on. There isn't like a marketing reason to do it.
Everybody does it for the love.
After over 30 years, I still really like it.
It didn't happen in Louisiana, it didn't happen in Indiana, it didn't happen in Europe, it happened right here in Southern California.
In the early 60s.
First wave is 61 to 64, 65.
I was quite young at the time, but I do remember going to a friend's house and spending the night there, and they would have the turntable with stacks of albums on it, Adventures and Dick Dale and the Shantays.
The original guys, all the original guys, when they were doing this, they hadn't been playing that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some of them had started younger, but if you're like, 18 or 19 and you have a record out, when did you start playing?
I came right out of high school. I was at Rendezvous Ballroom watching Dick Dale play, and a year later I was on that same stage playing with the Lively Ones.
Rendezvous was a bunch of crazy barefoot surfer guys down there and doing the stomp on the floor. It was great.
I was, I guess, the first wave. I don't have to copy anybody because I was one of the first.
Surf music was fresh at that time.
Surf music was essentially the punk rock music of its day.
And then the Beatles came along, and surf music died out.
For the period between the mid-60s and all the way through to, let's say, the late 70s into the 1980s, the traditional surf style was not heard in popular music.
What ended up happening was you had like all these hippies like at Rolling Stone saying, that was insignificant, unimportant, childish rubbish, and that's how surf music was perceived for many, many years.
Second wave is 80 to 86.
There were really just a handful of bands that were known at the time in the 1980s. And I'm only going to say there was anywhere from 20 to 50 bands that were known as new bands that were active in that time frame.
Like John and the Night Riders and the Surf Raiders and maybe the Ray Beats and things like that, we were all seeing like, oh, there's a valid instrumental type of music here that could be applied into punk rock directness.
When I was studying for a marine biology exam at the University of Maryland in '79, I drew on like my notes, I drew a picture of a little insect surfing, and I said, yeah, I kind of want to do, insect surfers. Yeah, that would be a cool name for a band because it would be kind of science fiction-y, modern, but still surf too.
In 1987, the Insect Surfers and the Halibuts were like the only bands who were out playing clubs and doing surf music and trying to make records.
But it was kind of lonely, out there.
And then third wave, technically you could start off 87.
It was almost like in 1989, boom.
In the 90s when we started playing, there really was kind of like, it felt like for about 2 seconds that it was really growing, like that the scene was getting big enough where if a superstar would come out of the scene, it would take it to the next level.
By the mid-1990s when Pulp Fiction came out, suddenly all these labels wanted to do surf compilations of vintage artists, but also, release new music by surf bands that were coming out at the time.
Our idea was to go and sign bands, even though they were signed to other labels, we were going to take them away. It was a bit crazy at the time, but that's what I wanted. I wanted to have this stable of amazing bands.
Dick Dale had the intro for Pulp Fiction with Miserlou. That turned a lot of people on to surf, and there was a whole explosion of surf bands after that.
By the end of the 90s, there were several thousand surf bands.
The 90s were really exciting.
I signed all but maybe 2 bands that, we wanted.
After the explosion, which is great, you couldn't even keep track of how many bands there are.
It was just getting bigger. And around 99 and 2000, it really dived.
What we started getting in the late 90s, after Pulp Fiction came out, was just way too many bands.
I watched the effect of the end of the Pulp Fiction era of bands, and the bands that started in 94, 95 drop off by 2001, gone.
People in the stores that were trying to market them, or people at the magazines who were getting this stuff and were pro surf music in the early 90s were going, this is too much.
After the 90s, all these bands I wanted to see were just gone, all that stuff was done.
1998 to maybe 2004 would be like the dark ages of surf.
All that stuff I fell in love with in the 90s was gone, so I wanted it to come back. And I was glad the Ghastly Ones came back.
Surf music never went away. A lot of people wish it did, or thought it did.
The whole first, second, third wave thing, to me, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to classify it that way. Because to me, there was the originators, the people who did it in the early 60s, and everyone who came after that, like whether it's the 80s, the 90s, or now, are revivalists. Like our band is a surf revival band. We're trying to capture a sound from the early 60s. It's like the rockabilly revival.
And the mod revival and the garage punk revival, and then there was a surf revival. And that's what the hardcore surf instrumental movement all around the world today is coming out of.
The fourth wave of surf music is here now.
This is surf music, modern surf music.
You don't use the word virtuosity with surf music that much, but I mean, they're all superb players.
See, the skilled ones, they play surf, and what they do is they rock the house.
It's an energy level that you gotta build up to it.
So very heavy down picking, double picking staccato.
It's physical endurance.
Physical endurance.
You have to put a lot of force into it.
I mean, you get tired doing it now. I know many people where their hands and their arms will cramp up on them after a while.
Get that carpal tunnel thing going, you know, or jaw lock.
Powerful, it's big, it's mysterious. It's just really one of the coolest sounding things you'll ever hear.
To someone who's not used to hearing it, it all sounds the same.
Well, to me, it doesn't all sound the same. That's what I like about it, is there's so many subgenres of surf. You know, space and spaghetti western and spy.
Horror surf, criminal surf, TV-themed spaghetti western, exotica, jungle exotica.
Middle Eastern, you know, Spanish.
Some's very hard, some very easy going, some psychedelic.
You have the straight up surf, you have the hot rod surf.
This is instrumental rock.
There's no vocal melody.
There's nobody telling a story. There's no poet.
The guitars are the words. The lack of lyrics is a little bit of a disconnect for some people.
People are so hung up on lead singers.
Why do you guys sing? Why don't you do this? And it's like, well, that's the style.
surf music, people will automatically think of the Beach Boys.
Beach Boys were a great band, but it's beach music. It's not surf music.
That's actually like my biggest pet peeve is people who refuse to say that the Beach Boys are surf music.
A lot of the instrumental guys didn't really like the vocal bands, you know, like the Beach Boys and stuff. And I don't know what that was about, because the Beach Boys are really kind of the guys that did it throughout the world.
A lot of people who like instrumental surf now seem to shun away from the Beach Boys.
Anybody who says, the Beach Boys weren't surf or that vocal music isn't surf is full of shit. But the best kind of surf music is instrumental.
Without the vocals, it creates a better mood.
Surf music is certainly much more up to the individual what they get out of a song.
You hear it and it puts you in an environment.
You get these mental images, and you can go on this trip and this ride, and you can just paint so many different pictures, and the tapestries that come over your head are just wow.
I could be in my car driving to work and put on a surf song and listen to it, and suddenly you're at the beach.
The only sport with its own music too is surfing.
But I'd say 99% of the surfers don't know about it.
You don't really find people that are into the sport of surfing that are into surf music, so it's kind of funny how it all translated.
They claim that we're not a surf band because we don't surf. He doesn't even know how to swim. I don't surf anymore after fracturing my toe, big toe, because I jump off. It's like,
Tried to do boogie boarding today, and we failed.
Certainly to play the music, being in the water is definitely not a prerequisite. But it makes you 0.0001% cooler.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of hodads out there playing surf music.
The real surfer, they're more into alternative and punk and reggae, or Jack Johnson type music. They don't think that there is a surf music, they don't know about it. They think that anything that was surf was from the 60s, and Beach Boys, which Beach Boys are beach music.
Look, man, it ain't surf music unless you have a Showman amp, Fender reverb tank, and a Fender Jazzmaster or a Fender Jaguar.
When I started in Six Surfers, I was playing a Mosrite.
The guitar I play with the Bastards is Vox.
If you want the banana splits, they actually use that exact same
really
guitar.
Cool. And then I was playing a G&L, which was made by Leo Fender.
I bought a Fender Jazz bass.
right now I'm playing a white SG Epiphone copy.
That is my my like prized white Falcon. That guitar's like an 02 or an 03, and everyone thinks it's like from the 50s. I mean, if you've seen me play it, I kind of beat it up. It's got belt buckle marks all over it. I used to take the guitar from the Bigsby. I used to throw it up in the air with my arm, the whole guitar, and everyone was just pointing at it like it's sacrilege to do that to White Falcon. I love that thing, man.
The first guitar I'd ever bought was a '61 Gibson SG.
Oh my God, you guys don't play Fender guitars.
Turned out it sounded great through a Fender amp.
Nothing like a Fender amp just cranked up and the band just tearing it up. It's beautiful.
I like the power of a minor chord. It's playing clear without distortion. I can't describe it. It's a great feeling.
Back in the 60s, they didn't have all these fancy monitors. They didn't have all these extra speakers. You had your amp and your speaker, you know, and your reverb and your guitar, and you just blasted the heck out of everybody.
Rick made his own reverb tank. Rick's a rocket scientist, by the way.
I did, because they were too expensive. When I wanted to buy one, they were too much money.
You do not get into surf music to make money.
Everybody knows.
There's no way to make money.
Yeah.
Like, you know, to get rich. No, there's no way to do that.
Most of the bands do it because they love the music. You know, I don't think most of them make a lot of money off of it.
People that really should be able to make a living playing music, but because they're sticking to surf music, they can't.
You don't sell million records, you probably sell 500.
If you're playing surf music to make a living, you're probably homeless.
Hey, it's more commercially suicidal, all right.
It makes it really pure.
We don't expect to make any money doing this. Here's your money.
Hey!
It'd be awesome if they were making more money, more people coming to the shows.
When you say, I'm a surf band, you really limit your audience.
Sometimes the audiences are so small, I almost feel that I could feel insulted if I'd let myself.
My name is Linda Miller, in case you don't know that. Some of you do, or most of you do, some of you don't. I am Special Events Director with the Huntington Beach International Surfing Museum, and that's who brings your Surfin' Sundays, which is today, to you. My husband John and I were missing for a couple of the concerts last year, and he's dealing with cancer, and in the interim of dealing with cancer, I had a heart attack. I want to thank all of you for sending cards and emails and letters and phone calls and whatnot to John and I while we've been dealing with our health issues.
Our son, dear Scotty, passed away 8 years ago in June. It was pretty gut-wrenching, and it was through him that John and I both became friends with Dick Dale.
He loved the surf museum. He loved the surf music.
I said to Dick, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm so used to doing for Scotty, and now I have nothing to do. But I can't go crazy. I've got to figure out something to do. So he says, why don't you go to the surf museum and book bands?
He's the reason that I got into it in the first place. This is my 6th year.
and I am loving every minute of it.
I'm the assistant to Linda.
He's been with us since 1998. He's actually volunteered, and he's done the grunt work for all those years. I had to rely on Tiki Dude to take care of some of the hosting duties, as well as helping me find some of the newer bands.
I just helped Linda at the Surf Museum book 10 new bands.
Tequila Worms have been around a couple years, what, 3 or 4 guys? But they really got good recently.
Originally, I started out, I think, with about 12 bands, and I counted them the other day. I've got 88.
The Huertos, Superwave, no, Blasto, Tiki Shakers, Pollo Del Mar, the Goofy Foots, welcome the Pyronauts.
They like the idea that they can claim that on their resume that they've played for the Surfing Museum. I'm not sure exactly what the attraction is, but they just love to come in there, and they're more than willing to do it free.
I just do it for the love of it. I have a regular day job and I don't take any money for it.
I've worked very hard to get the shows as they are, and to not have a decent sized audience is kind of a slap in the face.
You know, family is always first, I understand that. But it's like, you know, there's 7 days in a week. Can't you set aside one of them for a surf show? Well, you know, even once a month, even 4 times a year. There's some people I see once or twice a year. And I'm like, all these other days and all these other shows, what are you doing?
We've got to have some way of not allowing surf to ever die.
She said that at some point she's going to have to step down because of health reasons.
If I can breathe one more breath, I'll be doing another Surfing Sunday.
Then Tiki Dude, he's like everywhere, all at the same time.
No, you're
He's
everywhere.
seen every band.
There's no way I could be as many places as you. When I first got into surf, I would go to a show at the museum or a bar, and I was a wallflower. I would stand in the corner, I would enjoy the music, and I would leave. I wouldn't talk to anybody. I was actually a really shy person. Surf music has actually kind of pulled me out of my shell. And some people think it's hard to believe, but you know, 15 years ago, I'd be nervous as hell doing an interview like this.
If there was no surf instrumental music, I don't know what Jeff would do. But I think Jeff Hansen, there's going to be a statue erected somewhere of this guy, because without him, I think a lot of the community would be kind of dispersed. He has been kind of, for the lack of a better term, a Moses to all of us out in the wilderness.
Actually, the first event that I did was for Baja Marty for his 50th birthday. I had a bunch of local bands. And it was like 8 or 10 bands. And we pulled up and it said, Baja, happy birthday, Baja Mary.
Oh my God.
Never have forgotten that.
Once in a while, you'll notice I get really, really excited, and sometimes I'll stammer over myself, and sometimes my buddy will have to reach over and say, okay, it's okay, you know. But I'm so excited about this stuff. It just, you know, enthralls me to no end. You know, I live for that wet, drippy reverb sound, and I just love it, and it just does something to my whole being. And it just makes me so excited that, you know, for some reason, the brain, the mouth, and the rest of the body just sometimes you don't mix right, and I just go crazy.
For those who don't know, Baja Marty and I are kindred spirits. We're brothers from another mother.
You know, we care about each other. You know, we just family. You know, that's what surfing, you know, this whole thing is about. It's about brothers, and sisters, family, friends. It's drinking, having a good time.
I've met some great people just hanging out. I met, you know, Big Tiki Dude, Christina, you know, Tiki Tina.
We have our regular family, and then we have the surf family. You know, these people, you see them on all these weekend events, and you have backyard parties and barbecues. We'll play your party too.
I think a lot of people love that all the musicians are so close that you can sit and listen to a band this close. Look, there's the guitar right there. That's the thing about surf. It's not in an arena.
The other one is Unsteady Freddy. He's like everywhere too.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the foot of the stage, Unsteady Freddy. I'm Unsteady Freddy. Consider myself a cheerleader for surf.
It's weird, you know, I go to the Clarkson Surf Fest in Atlanta and Freddie shows up, you know. I go to a show up in Toledo, Ohio, and Freddie's putting it on, you know. I come out here to Phil Dirt's retirement party and Freddie's sitting next to me, you know. It's just weird, you know. It's like the same group of people, but you know, he must have a lot of money to be able to afford to go to all these things.
He spares no expense. He flies all over the country, goes to Europe, just to see surf bands play.
I shoot videos all the time, wherever I go, with my little camera.
Unsteady Freddy out there on the dance floor with his legs spread, doing his...
Yeah.
That's amazing.
He's definitely an out there character.
12 years, no drugs, no alcohol. Like simultaneously to getting clean, I started hearing surf music. I started feeling it all around me. And I knew very quickly it was a calling.
Freddie's worse than I am. He's a real emotional cripple.
I need hugs. Oh, look at, see. Very bad parenting as a child, very bad parenting.
Definitely kind of geeky. I told him that the first time I met him. I go, you come out here from New York wearing dungarees, U.S. Keds, a t-shirt with a Hawaiian shirt.
I came back from Surfer Joe's Summer Festival with 82 videos. 82 videos. Each one of them loaded in lovingly to my YouTube page.
Say what you will about Freddie, I appreciate what he does.
Here, look, you can see me twice in the same video. That's ridiculous. How unsteady is that? This is the magic camera. It shot close to 1,000 videos on youtube.com/unsteadyfreddy. It's about the joy, about finding a way to present this music for others to hear it.
The one thing that would really help it is if there was a major radio station that even just once a week, you know, that would do like a Sunday morning surf show. I mean, there's a couple college shows here and there, you know, and there's internet shows, but like KLOS or K-Rock, if they were to do a weekend morning show, you know, that would be amazing, you know, but I just don't think that they would ever do it. There's not enough incentive for them to do it. I mean, maybe I need to talk to them and try to convince them or change their mind. But, you know, it's just, it's discouraging because I don't think that they even care.
Howdy, my name is Jorge, and I do the Radio Free Bakersfield podcast. It is 60 minutes of twang, crunch, and oomph. I do a show a week, usually goes up every Monday night around 7 p.m. Pacific time. In order to kind of promote the show, we do have good-looking women wearing the Radio Free Bakersfield t-shirt. And It kind of goes like this. I remember some guy came up on the page, I think it was on MySpace, and he said, I came for the chicks and I stayed for the tunes. So anything to, you know, get people interested in it. Just like the aesthetics of the music, we have something nice to look at while we're listening to the great tunes. And we're up to 192 shows. And from what I was told by a buddy of mine, he said, man, that's 7 days of music. So hey, if you got some time to kill.
I'm Cousin Mary on KFJC 89.7 FM in the Bay Area. I had a 12-hour surf special called Big Sunday, and we had 12 hours of recorded surf, and that made a lot of people very happy. Our listeners love it. The last show I did where I played surf, at the end of the show, the studio phone rings, and it's this guy. He says, I don't know whether to say thank you for a great show or just ask you to marry me. So this isn't altruistic. I love playing it. I think if you saw me in the studio when I'm doing the surf show, I would have this big grin. You know, the headphones are a big grin. So it's not a selfless thing to play surf.
Today at the beach, the podcast has been very, very positive. I've been getting a lot of positive response from that. In a way, it's better than a live show because people can pull up the website and listen anytime. It's sponsored and it's hosted by rickshawrecords.com/A Day at the Beach. The main reason why I do the show is to try to get as much knowledge about the genre out to the community. I post my playlist on several different internet sites, and I post the name of the band, the song, the CD it came off of, and their website. Let's play a song called Pitchfork by, this time they're called the Zombie Surfers. Hopefully people will go to those websites and say, hey, this is cool stuff, where can I buy a CD?
God bless the internet.
I think the internet helped really spread the word about it.
Back in the day, you really, really had to scour, for info.
When I noticed a big change, and I know people knock it, but the MySpace thing helped. I'm like, okay, that's it. I'll give into the MySpace thing. And this was like 2004, I think. And I'm like, and that was my first experience with it. Was band pages and it's free.
I would go to Tiki Tina's MySpace site and I started clicking on all her friends, and like 70% of her friends were bands from all over the world. And I was like, okay, I don't even need a fanzine. I could just go to this girl's MySpace and I could find out who the surf groups are and which ones sound good.
Actually started one for Outer Wave. And I started one for the Ghastly Ones, and I did one for Slackstone too.
Now it's a little easier with Facebook and MySpace and Surf Guitar 101 and stuff like that.
I'm a computer guy. I wasn't really good at playing surf music, but I know how to get around computers and do programming and, web stuff. I started getting really interested in web stuff, and I thought, well, how can I combine this interactive website stuff with surf music? And I found some software and it wasn't the greatest, but I got it off the ground, and it turned into this forum. It's got downloads and links and a database and stuff. And that's sort of the history of, in a nutshell, of Surf Guitar 101.
This website is so great that it enabled me, some schmuck on a computer, to meet a bunch of people and then play with his heroes right on this stage right here.
Mike Staccato Rosado formed what was known as the NESMA, the Northeast Surf Music Alliance.
It's a network of instrumental and surf bands along the eastern seaboard.
The accessibility for people, not only within the States, but outside the States and the world at large, you're able to affect a lot more people.
these forums that they really opened up the door where knowledge, people now know what this music is.
It turned into thousands of people all over the world, people asking them, oh, come and play in Mexico, come play in Argentina, come play in Europe.
They have the Surfer Joe festival in Italy, and they get, it looks like thousands of people out to their festival.
My name is Lorenzo Valdembrini, and I'm from the Wadadley Riders.
Lorenzo is just gung-ho for the surf music thing.
For those of you who don't know, Lorenzo, he puts on a big festival in Italy every year called the Surfer Joe Festival.
The original idea was to put together all the Italian surf bands. It was 15 bands at the time, including some relatively famous ones like Cosmonauti from Rome, Radicus 4. Which will really become the biggest thing ever in surf music. Arrive up to this year, which is has reached its top. We made almost 6,000 people in 3 days, just for surf music, which is incredible. Surf music is spreading very quickly, and I think it's a good moment, and everybody likes it.
I've been just so blown away by the European bands the last 10 years. They're just blowing the doors down.
I had no idea that there were this many bands worldwide playing surf today.
There'll be some band in Argentina, and or some band in Germany, or even Croatia. Or Japan.
Like Spain, it blew me away. There was a friggin' surf band in every town.
And in South America, Mexico.
And most of them don't suck.
What place doesn't have surf bands today? I mean, I don't know if there should be a Bollywood surf group from India coming out any minute.
We don't do that much out-of-town playing, but that's going to change.
If American bands go to Europe, they do really well.
Germany's always been like a big supporter of us.
Wednesday nights in a beer hall in Germany, they'll have to play all their set, 2 or 3 times, just because everyone's going crazy and asking for more.
We are trying to go international. I think that we do really well in Europe, not only because of the Swank Bastards, but because I show my boobs.
I want to say it's bigger everywhere else than here.
Here it's much smaller.
European bands come here, they're like, why don't we get more money?
We are from Germany, we're from Ulm.
in Germany, you're just in your rehearsal room and you close your eyes and you dream of being in San Francisco, being on the beach in California, and now we are doing what we dreamt of, so that's wonderful.
It's a great experience to be here, no?
So hi Mom, I'm drinking beer and smoking cigarettes in the United States.
When we did the show in Juke Joint, Anaheim, first major show in US soil, on US soil, my mouth was like Death Valley.
Once again, tomorrow, the starting gate. Doors at 8 a.m., vending at 9, show starts at 10. $20 at the door, 8 bands, 2 jams, tons of merchandise.
Convention that Big Tiki Dude pulled together.
The Surf Guitar 101 convention, as it's called.
I think that's the equivalent to the Surfer Joe Festival.
This is a kind of a convention of people who love the music and are players and fans, you know, from around the world. It's really cool.
You have people from all over the place, you know, guys back there from Germany and stuff like that, coming to this.
Here in California.
This is a temporary world city of surf.
I'm really excited about it. I have to say, it's when that goes down, that's one of the best days of my life.
It's like the Star Trek convention for surf.
Exactly, yeah. I got on a plane this morning in New York, and here I am at night in the fringe of Huntington Beach, Surf City, for the first of 3 days of music.
Oh, I drove, and it's about a 10-hour drive.
I wouldn't think anything about going 1,200 miles one way.
Well, there's a lot of excitement in the surf music community concerning the Surf Guitar 101 convention that's going to be happening in Los Angeles. Well, actually, specifically Los Alamitos this weekend.
So there happened to be a show at the starting gate, like in March or something, 2 years ago. And I'm like, this place is perfect. Bigger, you know, it's got the back room for the vending.
Jeff really collaborates the whole thing. He gets in touch with the bands, puts it together.
We got Frankie the Pool Boys. That's a side project from Ference from Playa del Mar. We have Space Cossacks doing a 10-year reunion. They haven't played in 10 years. We have the Wadali Riders from Italy/Antigua. We have the Insect Surfers. We have the Space Rangers from Germany. The Atomic Mosquitoes from Washington, D.C. Surfside 4 from Arizona. And International Men of Mystery, the Shadows Tribute Band.
He's worked his butt off to make this thing happen. It was an enormous amount of work.
So last year we had about 250 people, you know, which is a fairly good growth, you know. And then I'm hoping for this year to get, you know, 350 to 400.
Brony, and this is my wife Karen, and we're here today at the SG 101 Con playing with our band Frankie and the Pool Boys.
Last 2 years I've had a jam where all the members of the forum sign up and pick a song that they want to do.
I love the Surf Guitar Members Jam because it's people who are not professionals some of the time, and it's all kinds of people, but it's members just getting together and they haven't practiced at all and they're just coming together to play a standard. And so for a few of them it may be the only time they ever get on stage, but for me that's the most fun because they really enjoy it the most.
This year I'm going to have 1 hour of the member jam, but I'm also going to have a 1 hour jam of like the legends.
All right, how is everybody today? Is this a great day or what? I mean, we got some of the most awesome surf bands in the world here today, and some of the greatest players. I have obviously a lot of friends that have inspired me over the years. Yeah, it works. And it's just a pleasure to be out here amongst all of you and just seeing so many people actually taking pride in surf music and good surf music. This next tune I'd like to dedicate to all of you folks out there, because if it wasn't for you folks, it probably would have never done as well as it did. It's a little medley of our hit, little thing called Pipeline.
Legends, a surf jam. I mean, it's just one unforgettable thing after another. We had Jim Masoner from the Lively Ones, and Paul Johnson's the guy who started it all. I mean, I was just watching him. I just couldn't believe it. And Tom Stanton from the Crossfires. I mean, they play Fiberglass Jungle and Out of Control. They had the sax players up there, just like the 60s records, and Jim Frias from the Nocturnes, and Tim Fitzpatrick from the Lively Ones, the drummer. It was just unbelievable.
Paul Johnson was just sitting there with me. We were both had our arms around each other.
The older stuff, it's great. I think in our opinion, that's really the only surf music that matters.
Surf's very much about paying homage to the first wave guys. Even if you're doing your own thing, a lot of the bands that are even progressive, they still have a little place in their heart. That's the Holy Grail, or it's like, that's their temple.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day. We got some great entertainment coming out here. God bless you all. See you soon.
That's great, and I love that kind of music, but I just like to expand it a little.
Modern Surf's longest running current surf band. Originally from Washington, D.C., in LA, more than 20 years now, the Insect Surfers.
Here's a dance tune for y'all. Y''ALL is called Volcano Juice.
We were playing with so many other incredible bands from all over the world, we wanted to make a big splash.
The Insect Surfers is similar to old surf, but it's definitely not the same. But to me, the Insect Surfers they were edgy and rock enough with the dueling guitar leads and stuff like that. We're coming from metal. To me, that was the perfect gateway drug.
David is the most active person I've ever met in my entire life. I mean, he is just so full of energy.
I think he goes back to the second wave when he was in DC. So yeah, he's still at it. And I see him almost at every show, and it doesn't have to be a surf show. I go to a show and he's there, from the Stones to some punk band. It's like he's at every show. It's amazing, that guy. And he's doing his little dance or whatever. He's the greatest.
Sometimes when people ask me for guitar tips, my two tips are, number one, don't keep your guitar in the case. Keep it on your bed or on a chair, so anytime you're walking by you can grab it if you have an idea or something. And number two, jump around first, play later. Anyone could play. You know?
Thank you.
Oh, can you do me a favor? Can you turn it down? The owner is asking that we turn it down. The waitresses can't hear the customers. I'm sorry. We have to make everybody happy. The venue's free, so we have to do what they want.
I had an opportunity to see the atomic mosquitoes when a few of them band members were here a couple of years ago, but they forgot to bring their CDs with them. So I was really, really brokenhearted. Now I finally got them because I got it last night. So I'm a happy camper now.
I've got, I think, about 1,000 surf CDs. Another, I don't know, 50 to 100 records.
I'm thinking I must have about 10,000 records now. I have them. These are the ones I listen to frequently. There's probably 3,000 or 4,000 records right there.
I've got almost everything that's been released in CD.
And there's so much great stuff that we're still finding. You know, a lot of it was put out on small independent labels where maybe they did like 500 copies.
You see how many people buy this music on vinyl, CD.
Man, when you put that vinyl on, somehow everything just jumps out at you. It just comes alive. It just sounds like you're right there in the recording studio.
The audiences for this music, they're insatiable.
I bought a huge collection from this guy around 2002 or so. He had like 800 or 900 CDs, and I bought the whole thing to sell to other people. He was going to Egypt to film the eclipse, and he needed some money. So I ended up buying all of his stuff for between like $2 and $5 a piece, and I ended up selling it for between $10 and $20 a piece. I go to shows, you know, and actually see these people in person. So I had this big box of all these CDs. And I'd be like, hey, come out to the truck with me and let me show you what I got. You know, I was like the pusher man.
There's an endless amount of this stuff.
Please buy our CDs so we can have gas money to get home.
It's one thing to be a fan of the music and buy the CDs or download or whatever.
But nothing like a live surf show.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Portland, Oregon, Satan's Pilgrims.
Most bands sound better live, you know, than their CDs. I've found. Yeah. You know, even if there's mistakes, there's still an energy and a power that you can't get in a video or an audio recording. That's why I tell people they need to go to shows, because it's moving. You know, I've never cried listening to a CD, but live is very emotional. There was like 150 people, and they were just going ape, and they were like hanging from the rafters and freaking out and hooting and hollering. Show was like this, where there was a huge turnout, and it was like, it's a family, it's a community type of thing. I got all misty-eyed and I was like, wow, it's like seeing God.
I think that if there's any time for the dead joke scroll, it's right now.
Okay, red-headed young man was up in the Catskills Mountains one day, and then he went into this cave, and lo and behold, he found this wonderful Torah scroll with all the lost wisdom of the Jews. For instance, I asked my wife, where do you want to go for our anniversary? She said, somewhere I have never been. I said, how about the kitchen? Why are Jewish men circumcised? Why? Because Jewish women don't like anything that isn't 20% off. All right.
I'm totally a sucker for a band with a shtick.
Yeah, I am
too. Yeah, if they got a shtick, I'm down.
Thank you once again, we're the Sugar Beach Party, and I'm going to get off stage and plot.
Surf music is boring. I always like to joke, because it's boring, it's, you got to add something to it.
Do something to make it look, entertaining, because if you're not, and if you're staring at your shoes, forget it.
It's not enough to be a shoegazer band, Gotta give it some verve, excitement.
yourselves a big hand for showing up at this place, huh? It's been a pretty cool day.
We've got Daikaiju coming up.
Yeah. One of the better shows was Daikaiju from Alabama.
It was totally awesome.
It's an experience. It's not just music.
They're so trippy looking.
It's like very intense instrumental music. It's a little beyond surf. Like you can hear surf elements in it.
The act or the showmanship is the equivalent of a Japanese anime adventure meets the monsters from B-grade movies.
You just experienced Daikaiju. You did pretty good. Please go in the back and buy their merch.
If you guys want to win something, you got to buy the raffle tickets. The raffle tickets, instead of just giving them away when people came in, we sold them separately.
Last three numbers, 568. Last three numbers, 568.
If we get 5 more raffle tickets, each band will get an even 500. So if everybody could chip in and buy some raffle tickets, that would be really cool.
Ticket number 311, and it goes to Mr. J. Mr. J. The music's in good health.
All that money all went into one pool and got divided evenly among the bands.
I'm so stoked that they got paid so much money this year.
Every year's growing, you know, bigger and better. More bands, more people, more money.
I'm Exene Cervenka, and I'm here to see the Space Cossacks. I met them on tour, and I have their record, so I gotta come see them.
When the Space Cossacks went on, it's like, okay, if it's good at 7, we're at 10.
It's like, you know, wall of sound sort of thing. It used to be called the Motorhead of surf.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Space Cossacks.
We hope to see you next year. Keep the playing live.
I'm sorry, we can't do any more songs. It's 8 o'clock. We don't pay for the venue, it's free. Thank you everybody for coming. If you could please help with the equipment, we need to get it out in 5 or 10 minutes out that door. If we want to do it here again, we have to play by the rules. Everybody that's a musician or able-bodied, can you please grab a drum, grab an amp, take it outside and stay with it so it doesn't walk away. Thank you very much everybody for coming. Appreciate it.
There'll always be surf music, despite what Jimi Hendrix once said.
We shouldn't forget is that music was disdained and disrepute for many, many years, and that disrepute no longer exists. I think surf music really fits into the larger picture now. The peak has happened and it gave surf music a place.
I'm kind of scared just how far we're going to get with this.
I don't think we want to have it too big, but I think it could expand a bit more than it is now.
Even if surf was as big as rockabilly, I'd be happy.
Maybe something kicks surf up again and kicks it up even higher, where all of a sudden this music's in more of a demand.
Who knows? Maybe there'll be a top 40 hit instrumental.
In a perfect world, I would love to see something like that, but I really don't see it ever crossing into the mainstream again.
I think it's reached a kind of a plateau. I really don't think it's going to get much bigger.
I don't see instrumental music getting a big following ever. I think so much of it relies on commercial radio and television, and so much of it is pre-programmed, corporate-generated type music.
Surf music is what it is because it didn't become anything else.
Yeah.
If it did take off and go somewhere, it wouldn't be what it is, and everybody loves it the way it is.
Yeah.
Because it becomes ours, we can keep it in our community.
I don't want it to necessarily go like mainstream.
And if surf music never really takes off and becomes huge, that would kind of be fine with me.
You'd like to see the surf get kind of go mainstream?
No.
All of the surf bands, I just love them to pieces. And, I just want them all to really be playing good, making CDs, making music, making people happy, just making the whole thing just go and go and go and go. So that's all I want. Just surf music, just keep on riding that eternal wave, man. That eternal wave, Just never stop, never stop.